The grand market of New Singapore Space Station hummed with its usual cacophony of alien languages and atmospheric processors. Lieutenant James Chen of the Earth Defense Force was off duty, enjoying a bowl of synthetic ramen at his favorite corner stall, when the commotion started. A small figure in an ornate environmental suit burst through the crowd, trailing wisps of pale green gas. Behind her, 3 heavily armed K-Thraxian hunters pushed through the throng, their crystalline armor glinting under the station's artificial lights. James recognized the gas immediately: methyl-7, a highly toxic compound to most carbon-based life forms. His emergency toxicology training kicked in even as the other market-goers scrambled to get away, their environmental suits sealing automatically. The figure stumbled, clearly struggling to maintain her suit's integrity. As she fell, her hood slipped back, revealing the distinctive crown markings of a Neptunian royal. A princess, far from home and in serious trouble. "Please," she gasped through her suit's external speakers. "My emergency seal is failing. I need—" She couldn't finish as another wisp of green gas escaped her suit. The crowd backed away further. Everyone knew helping Neptunian royalty meant getting involved in their endless political intrigues. The K-Thraxian hunters were probably hired by a rival noble house. Nobody wanted to risk their life for someone else's civil war. Nobody except a human who couldn't ignore someone in distress. James was already moving, his augmented reality display, scanning the environment and calculating risks. He'd done hazmat training, but this was different. One wrong move, and both he and the princess would be dead in seconds. "Ma'am, I'm Lieutenant Chen, Earth Defense Force," he said, kneeling beside her. "I'm going to help you, but you need to trust me completely." His AR display was already showing him the weak points in her suit, an older Neptunian model, but similar enough to the ones he'd studied. The princess's luminescent eyes widened. "You're human? But the gas." "Don't worry about that right now." James pulled his emergency repair kit from his cargo pocket. Standard issue for EDF personnel, but he'd never had to use it in a real crisis before. "Try to stay still." The K-Thraxian hunters had stopped their advance, confused by this unexpected intervention. One of them stepped forward, mandibles clicking. "This is not your concern, human. The princess has been marked for collection. Step aside." James didn't look up from his work as he replied, "I'm afraid I can't do that. Under Earth Defense Force Regulation 47BE, I'm obligated to render assistance to any sentient being in medical distress, regardless of political situation. You invoke Earth law on a space station." The hunter's translator couldn't quite convey their incredulity. "Actually," James said, carefully applying a molecular sealant to the princess's suite, "New Singapore Station operates under the Terran Cooperative Charter, which recognizes EDF emergency protocols." He'd paid attention in his space law classes, thank goodness. "So yes, I do invoke Earth law here." The princess's breathing was steadying as the seal took hold. James's AR display showed the gas levels decreasing in her suit. The hunters conferred among themselves, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Besides," James continued, helping the princess to her feet, "if you're really here to collect a bounty, you'll want her alive. That gas leak would have killed her in another few minutes." Not very professional. The lead hunter's crystalline armor shifted colors, a sign of agitation. "You dare question our methods?" "I question anyone who'd let politics override basic decency," James replied. He was scared, sure, but years of EDF training had taught him how to function through fear. "Now we're going to walk to the station's medical bay. You're welcome to follow and present any legitimate claims to station security." The hunters hesitated. James had just changed the game. By invoking station law and medical necessity, he'd forced them to either back down or openly violate multiple interstellar treaties. Their employer might be powerful, but few wanted to risk the diplomatic headache of assaulting an EDF officer performing emergency medical duties. "This isn't over," the lead hunter warned, but they were already backing away. James nodded. "Probably not. But right now, medical attention takes priority over politics." As they made their way to the medical bay, the princess spoke softly through her now sealed suit. "I've studied human history. Your people often intervene in situations that don't concern them." "We're funny that way," James agreed. "Can't seem to help ourselves. Most species would call that a weakness." James shrugged. "Maybe. But we've found that helping others, even when it's not our problem, tends to work out better in the long run. Creates fewer enemies, more friends." The princess was quiet for a moment. "The K-Thraxians will return." "Probably. But now you'll have time to contact your embassy, get proper protection." He grinned. "And if they try anything in the medical bay, they'll have to deal with Dr. Patel. She's scarier than any bounty hunter when someone threatens her patients." That earned a musical laugh from the princess. "You humans are strange. You face death to help strangers, make jokes in serious situations, and treat royalty like normal people. Would you prefer I treat you differently, Your Highness?" "No," she said quickly. "It's refreshing. My own people are so bound by protocol that they often forget about basic compassion." As they entered the medical bay, James could already see station security gathering. The political storm wasn't over, but at least the immediate crisis had passed. He'd probably catch flack from his superior officers for getting involved in an interplanetary incident while off duty, but he couldn't bring himself to regret it. Sometimes, he reflected, humanity's weakness for helping others was actually their greatest strength. In a galaxy full of beings who carefully calculated every action based on political advantage, there was something to be said for simply doing what was right. The princess's words would later be recorded in the official diplomatic logs. "In my darkest moment, when my own kind feared to help me, it was a human who showed me that true nobility has nothing to do with royal blood and everything to do with the courage to be kind."